Hey, I just want to say quickly before this episode that this episode's going to be a little different in terms of the art, because usually when I do these videos I draw fan art for the show I'm recommending. That's not going to be the case for this episode and possible future episodes. It's not like something against the podcast itself, it's just sometimes I'm not either motivated or inspired to draw a certain piece, but I still do want to recommend like the show. So I will be clarifying that at the beginning of episodes where I do this. And also sometimes some shows just don't have like stuff I could draw fan art for, if that makes sense. And I feel like trying to make myself draw something when I don't really have an idea of what I want to go for tends to make it very obvious that the piece is uninspired. So I just kind of want to clarify that before this episode, since all the previous ones have been fan art for said shows that I'm recommending. And of course, as always, Daryl Recommends Podcast is a podcast recommending series and shouldn't be mistaken as a reviewing one. Opinions about each show are my own and should not reflect what each podcast has to offer. Content warnings aside, I believe that if any recommendation in my series interests you, you should give it a chance regardless of how I personally feel about the show.
Hey, Val, what's up?
Everything okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
No, you're fine, dude. You're totally fine. I just wasn't expecting a call from you at 10 p.m. is all.
Sorry, I don't want to keep you up. It's just been one of those days. Steven kept me on late for the second day in a row.
Ugh, that guy's such a turd.
Right?
Mayfair is like every other town, but every town has its secrets, and Mayfair's is one that its own citizens try their best to ignore. Things lurk in its shadows, but they can't stay hidden forever. Mayfair Watcher Society is a horror anthology podcast created and based on the works of horror artist Trevor Henderson and published by Bloody Disgusting Podcast. I tripped over the words there. And this show is really great, especially if you're somebody who prefers horror anthologies other than horror shows with longer plots. The show consists of short stories based off the creatures of Trevor Henderson's art and ties them all together in the town of Mayfair, complete with town's own lore and weird citizens. And I really like this show a lot. If you want something that is like, one, an anthology, because anthologies are really good. I like horror anthologies. But two, if you want something that's kind of like reminiscent of stuff like Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities or Channel Zero. And also if you are a big Goosebumps fan, I feel like that kind of like would tie in if you're like a Goosebumps fan or you're still a Goosebumps fan. Obviously, the episodes aren't going to be as lighthearted and as kid-friendly as a Goosebumps episode, but you know, just if you were looking for something similar. And I really like it. I like it a lot. I personally love Trevor Henderson's art, and the fact I only found out like kind of recently at the time of me recording this that his like monsters actually have lore with it. Like, I mean, everybody knows about like Long Horse and Siren Head, especially Siren Head, because I believe that's like his most popular monster. But I like this series specifically because I could just throw on an episode every week and just listen to like little stories about these like monsters and these photos, because I really do like Trevor Henderson's art. He's been one of my favorite artists for quite a while now. And the fact that he has a podcast now is really cool, especially since it's about these monsters. It also has like a lot of like really great actors in it. This is like produced by Bloody Disgusting, and they also produce another show called the SCP Archives, which is probably one of my favorite podcasts out there. And it has a lot of actors from that, so if you want Graham Rowat to attempt to make you cry again, you can go for it. And it even has other actors such as Benar from The Siltverses, and Jesse Hall from Tales of That Town, and Risa Montanez from The Hotel. And just like all anthologies, it's like, and here's the thing with like anthologies that's like really enjoyable, especially if like, there's not many episodes of the show out currently, but like for like longer running shows, is because it's an anthology, you technically don't need to listen to every episode or in order. So you could just like cherry pick the episodes you like, and they're really good. Like, I think there's like only been like maybe 1 or 2 episodes that I was just kind of met with, but like most of them was good. It has a musical episode. Like, I have never seen a horror anthology have a musical episode, which I thought was like really cool. It was really fun. And so, and because there's like no like meta plot or anything, or at least like with what the show has out now, you could just jump into any episode and, you know, just hang out and stuff. There's also individual content warnings for each episode, so some topics will be covered in some episodes and some not in some other stuff, but some episodes do have sensitive topics such as like sexual harassment, homophobia, but it's an anthology, so you can skip those if that makes you uncomfortable, which is great. And I recommend it a lot, and I think you guys should go listen to it. I'm sorry that this isn't as super long or informative as I would like to go to with this, but it is like 8:30 in the morning, and also I have school. But I do recommend this series. It's very good, and it also if you like are trying to like figure out like which monsters it's referencing, like if you go onto like the little like podcast icons that they have like for each episode, it shows like the image that it's based off of. And it's really good, and I really like it. I'm gonna go ahead and link Trevor Henderson's website for people who want to go check out his art. And if you have a show that you want me to add on my to listen to list, you can go ahead and do that. And I will also be linking my socials like I do. I tell you guys this all the time. I have a comic. You can go read it if you want to. If not, then okay. So yeah, that's it. Goodbye.